Hey guys, my name is Sophie George and I am one of ASHWA's 2021 students. I just popped on Zoom today to show you how to use a website called Queensland Globe. So I use Queensland Globe for most of my assignments. It's definitely my preferred mapping system over Google Earth, which I know a lot of my colleagues use. There's a heap of cool features on Queensland Globe. I'm just going to show you a few of them today, which are really helpful for both LFA and also for completing your second assessment. But like I said, you'll probably use Queensland Globe quite a bit once you figure out how to use it. So this is the website for Queensland Globe. So go ahead and copy that, jump on the website right now while you're watching the lecture if you want to. When you first open the website, you'll just click agree and it will take you straight to the Queensland map. So the reason that I like to use Queensland Globe is that you can really tell whatever story you want using the layers and the features on the mapping system. So for example, you can use features that will show you the topography of the landscape, the hydrology of the landscape, the vegetation, including regional ecosystems, and soil, as in Australian soil types. So this aligns very, very closely with the textbook you'll be reading for this unit. And this aligns very closely with conducting a landscape function analysis. So with the mapping system, you'll be able to check out the soil type, the vegetation, the canopy cover. You can do drainage line assessments, just get a general idea of the landscape before you physically go out and start surveying. So with using a map though, recently when I was using it, I noticed it was bringing up images from 2018. So of course you always need to go on site and ground truth what you are looking at on Queensland Globe. Obviously things with paint, there'll be cyclones, fires, anthropogenic disturbances. You do need to go on site and check what's showing on Queensland Globe is showing in real life on your site. I also absolutely recommend, if you're not already doing GIS as part of your environmental science degree, if you're a biology student or another type of science, definitely have a look at doing this unit as an elective with Dr. Michael Hewson. He's our legend. He is definitely the mapping specialist of Central Queensland University. I completed the unit. I loved it so much. I didn't think I would because I couldn't even read the sat nav in my car. But I learned so much, and I definitely recommend, if you can, to do that unit. So the other cool feature about Queensland Globe is it will tell you whose country you're on. So it will show you the native title rights. It'll show you the breakup of all the Indigenous mobs around Australia or around Queensland. So it's a great feature once you start using it. And because you have this feature in your assignments or presentations or whatever you're going to be using Queensland Globe for, you'll have access to that information. So you can acknowledge whose country you're on. So I always acknowledge country in all of my assignments. I think it's really important as an environmental science student when we are going out into the landscape to acknowledge whose country we are on. So you can do that with Queensland Globe. That will tell you that information. So you'll see there's two other websites here. One is for regional ecosystems. So when we jump on Queensland Globe in a minute, we're going to get some codes. Those codes will type into this Govy website. It will spit out the exact regional ecosystem that we're looking at. Then the other one is the Atlas of Australian Soils. Again, you'll find a code of Queensland Globe, chuck it into this website. It will tell you the exact soil types, whether it's Vertisol, Pseudosol, Rudisol, all of the Atlas Australian soils. So if you've done soil science and conservation, they're the preferred soil types you would refer to when working in Australia. So I'll just quickly show you what these websites are going to look like. So this is Queensland Globe. Don't stress, we're going to jump on and have a look in a minute. And you can see there's some codes popping up on my map. The first code is giving me my regional ecosystem. So I'll get that number 11.3.1. I'll type it into the website that I just showed you for regional ecosystems, and it will tell me the exact regional ecosystem for that location. And it's the same thing for the second code, which is the soil type, vertisoil. So I get MM14 on that second website. For the soils, I'll hit Control+F, type in my code, and it will bring up for me the exact soil type. So that is super, super handy. And here I've just got a screenshot showing you we've got Durumble people. So we're obviously on Durumble country in this map. So I will acknowledge the Durumble people in the report I'm doing for this part of country. I've also got my drainage lines, which you'll see running through. And also I've got the flood map up. So this part of the landscape will become inundated with water. So it's really important that we've got the right vegetation here to prevent waterlogging. And as you can see, this landscape's been pretty much cleared. So we probably want to restore some of that vegetation so we can intercept some of this water and store it in the soil. But, you know, read your textbook because Ludwig and Tongwei definitely describe that much better than I ever could. So let's do it. Let's jump onto Queensland Glow. We'll do it together. So if you want to copy and paste this website and put it into your browser, and we'll just jump on and have a little play. So mine is ready. Obviously, like I said, you'll have to hit agree on the home screen to get in and see the map. Sometimes it can take a while to load. It probably will take a while to load just because I'm trying to record this and show you how to use it. Now, you're going to search just this one here. And you've got a few different ways that you can search. So obviously you can use street address, the lot and the plan, cities and towns, features of Queensland. So just yesterday, I was able to type in Mount Etna, which is like the quarry and the caving system. I just typed it in, it brought it straight up. So if it's a recognizable feature, it will bring it up quite easily for you. Latitude and longitude, that's definitely my preferred way to search just because it is so specific. And then, of course, when you go out on the site, you will use something as specific as latitude and longitude because that will even get you down to where you find your transact line. So I definitely prefer to use latitude and longitude. But today I'm going to actually use a street address, and that is going to be 275 Blanche Road. So what that is CQ Organics. And that's where we went this year to do our landscape function analysis. So for the purpose of this exercise, I'm going to use that address as well. So let's jump on, let's hit Blanche Road. Just wait for it to load. Sometimes it does take a while to load, so just bear with me here. All right. So we've typed in our address. Obviously, like I said, I preferably use coordinates just so I can get the exact location of where we ran our gradient-oriented transact lines for our disturbed and undisturbed sites. But for the purpose of this presentation, we're just going to go with the address. Now, you'll also see down here, there'll be some dates and it will show you generally what year you're looking at this, if this is a new map or an old map. So it looks like we're a fairly recent map. So we've searched our site, we found where we are, we're all good. So that's when we're going to jump in and start looking at some layers. So I absolutely recommend when you have some time, I know you guys don't have a lot of time, but when you do, jump on here and just have a play because there's so many different layers and features. So this is just the beginning layers, just to see what you're looking at. So for example, and will take some time to load on my computer, I'm very, very sorry. It's just the settings of how you are going to look at your map. So I'm not too concerned with that at the moment. I'm happy looking at it as a topographic map. Otherwise, you can do like your grey layers. Bear with me. Or your other layers that are going to look slightly different, but I prefer to absolutely look at it like it is in the landscape. So let's put it back onto the image. Although this is a good way to have a look at your contours with the topographic map, but I prefer to stick with the imagery and then do the topography through adding layers. So that's what we're going to look at next. We're going to go add layers. So there is a lot, and this is what I mean about just taking the time just to sit down and have a play with it. Anything a scientist could ever want or need will be in here. Economic information, that's in here. Census information, that's in here. Cultural heritage, vegetation, flora, fauna, protected environments, the whole lot, it's all in here. What we're going to look at today, though, is we're going to go into biota, and we're going to go down and we'll find regional ecosystem mapping. So you could just click right on there, but that will select all these features. What we want to know is what is the code we are working with. Just like I showed you in the presentation before, we want to be able to get a code of Queensland globe and type it in here to see what our regional ecosystem is. So let's do that. So we're going to go regional ecosystem mapping. You see that blue line up there? That means it's loading, and sometimes it can take quite some time to load. There's a lot of information. So let's just be patient. And very soon, a bunch of codes will appear on my screen. And I'll be able to use those codes to determine what the regional ecosystem is. So just bear with me. My internet is slow, and I do have a few children that are connected to the Wi-Fi, so it can take some time. While we're waiting to load, I'll show you some more stuff. It really is incredible how this works. So like here I was saying, you've got your census data, your cultural heritage, your electoral, like it's just endless what you can do with Queensland globe. So it looks like we're still waiting. So just bear with me here. Try this again. There we go. All right, so where we specifically were, and of course we want to be using coordinates, we are in 11.3.3. So we write that down or copy that down and go over here, 11.3.3. Now, bear in mind that within a landscape, you might actually have multiple codes. So you will need to look up those other codes as well. You can also see here it's identifying that it's a non-revenant zone, whereas this one will likely be a revenant zone. But let's just keep it simple. So we got 11.3.3. We're going to search that. So it's going to tell me what the regional ecosystem is. So it is an ecosystem of concern. It is on a floodplain, so that might be relevant information for your report as well. Obviously, if it's continuously being inundated with water, that is important. It's got your subregions. The extent in reserves of that vegetation type is low. Now, this is the short description. So eucalyptus, coolabah, woodland on alluvial plains. So that's how you would quickly describe that ecosystem. And then this description is the long description, and it will give you so much information. It will give you all the species, all about the soil, about ground cover. It's incredible. It will tell you if it is a protected area. It will tell you the special values of the ecosystem. So these ecosystems are important for nesting birds. Then fire management, this is also a really important one. So like the landholder may not even know that. So when you guys, if you do go out and visit Mick Alexander, you already have, you can tell him, you know, the fire management guidelines for this area, for your property. It's all here. Isn't that incredible? So there you go. So you just type in your code, and it will bring up all of this information. So the other thing I want to show you that you can do, so we're going to minimize this. So that is just one little layer and there are so many layers. Okay, so another thing I want to show you is I want to go down. Where am I going to find this? Down into geoscientific information, all right? So this is a great one. I always check what soil type I'm on. So don't be too quick to click the top soil. We don't want to select all of that. We want to go into soil and then we want to go into soil mapping, but specifically the type of soil mapping we want is the Atlas of Australian Soils. So this is where I was saying in soil science and conservation, there are certain soil types for Australian soils because Australia is very unique. So, and has its own soil type. So we're going to click on that. We're going to wait for it to load. But here we go. So you can see it's come up, this little code here, QA14. And then just over this border, we've got CC43. So yeah, the soil types, they can change quite significantly in a short space of time. And that's another thing, you do need to go out and dig a hole and ground truth that, yep, that's right, that is that soil type. So once we've got our code, we go to the other website that I shared with you, and we're going to go Control F. There's a little tab will pop up, and oops, I've already forgotten. It's QA14. So QA14. So that will bring up chromosol. I can tell you that that's probably right, that it is a chromosol, but once again, go and do your ground truthing so you can see what your soil type is. So now we know our soil type and we know our regional ecosystem. That's brilliant. Let's take off these layers now. And I'm going to show you two more things that are aligned with, sorry, that's a gecko, that are aligned with our textbook. Bear with me. I'm sorry that my computer is so slow. And take that layer off. There we go. So I back it out imagery. So, cultural heritage. So you can just click on cultural heritage, or of course you can go in and find your specific. So even if it is a native title region, you do actually need to go and ask permission to be on that land. Yeah, I just think it's brilliant. If you're looking at something in the mines, you can see where there's a cultural heritage management plan, or another, coordinated activity. But for this purpose, we're just going to go onto cultural heritage party boundary, and that will tell you whose land are you on. And here we are on Turrumbal country, and the traditional owners are the Turrumbal people. So that is a pretty neat feature. Okay. See, so it's Turrumbal Enterprises Pty Ltd. So if you wanted to go and seek permission from someone, that is who you should go and contact. That would be your first point of contact. Anyway, let's go back up here. Now we want to look at elevation. So in elevation, you've got a few different options. All of this is actually quite relevant to your LFA because you want to see your watershed. You want to see where your water is going to go across the landscape. So here you've got your contours. I'm just going to bring this down so we can get a bit closer. You can zoom in and see how high those contours are and the shape of the landscape, really. So water is going to come from a high area down into a lower area. So you can select all the elevation options. It will change your map quite significantly. Again, it's going to take some time to load, but that is a really good way to assess your drainage lines. Really good way of doing it. So let's get rid of that one. There's one more thing I want to show you guys, and I can't quite remember where it is, so just bear with me here. We want to look at where our water is sitting. There we go. We're in inland waters. So there's a few really cool features here. We've got our drainage boundaries, our water courses, our groundwater, our flood lines. I'm really interested to look at flood lines. Let's pop that one on first. So when it floods, this is what it's going to look like. So for me, that is quite important when doing your LFA, because when that Fitzroy River rises, or when there's, look at it all, it's going to get really inundated with water. So you do need to bear that in mind. Now over here, you can see these little dots. This is your legend, and you should be able to make it come across. Oh, I don't know why mine's not. Oh, there we go, right there. Hello. Right, and it's going to show you. So what we're looking at is probably the 2011 flood here, and the 2017 flood. That was quite a significant flood. That flood water came all the way out here. Isn't that so cool? So let's have a look at some drainage boundaries as well. Go, so you can see, yeah, this is flooding into the Fitzroy River. Water courses, water features. Bear with me. There we go. So now we can see where our creek lines are running in the landscape as well. So that is another really important thing to know when you want to go and do some landscape management. All right. So like I said, guys, please take some time, jump on here and have a look at these layers and these features. I'm not an expert. I've only really just started using this, and I've just noticed these few features that I wanted to show you that are very relevant to the assessment you're doing. But there's so much more on here I'm not even aware of. It would be really cool if we could have a little unit or course on this. But you know, take some initiative, jump on the website and have a play. Now, of course, say if this is our map we want to work with, we might want to submit this into our assignment. Of course, you can do the old sneaky print screen and then pop it into Paint and cut it. That's what I do, because you'll find these are pretty massive files. Now, the other way to do it is you'll hit print, and bear with me again. It's just going to load because it's quite a ginormous file. You can select your size. I'm sorry if you can hear those children in the background. So they're just creating this field quick, so just bear with me. So it's going to transfer the map into, you can either select, you can print it, or you can select a PDF file or an image. So of course you're going to name your map. When you do your GIS course, that is a very important feature of cartography. So we are at CQU Organics, which is also called Bindaree, Central Queensland, whatever you want to call it. Sorry, guys. Okay, and this map relates to flooding or floodplain. Okay, so we can print that, like I said, or we can save it to a PDF or save it to image. So when you do this, it's also going to bring across all the legends as well. So you'll see what the pink and the blue, what those refer to. So again, it's going to take quite some time to load. I'm just going to be nice and patient and wait. And it will save your map. So of course you could insert that perhaps as an appendix at the end of your assignment, but bear in mind it is quite a big file. I honestly do prefer to just screenshot, but obviously talk to your lecturer, ask what they would prefer. If it was like a very professional document, then I would probably insert it this way. So here it goes. Here is our legend here. So that is so cool, and the things you can do with this are just endless. So just going over it again, that's Queensland globe with the layers, adding the layers, searching, preferably using latitude and longitude. And then we have our soil types, and our regional ecosystem. So that is on the slideshow. So jump on the slideshow and copy those websites down, add them to your favorites, so that you can quickly jump on and see what soil type are you working with and what regional ecosystem are you in. So that's that, guys. That's a really basic introduction to Queensland Globe. Like I said, I'm not an expert. There are probably a lot of features I'm not even aware of, but I definitely can't wait to figure out. So have a play and good luck with all of your assessments.